Everyone, welcome to week 5. I am so sorry. I didn't send out an announcement yesterday. I was at a funeral all day, so I really apologize for not getting to sooner. I'm also not feeling very well, so just disregard my voice if you can. So, I wanted to kind of give you a quick overview of this week. Don't look at all of my grading that I have to do. I'll get there, I promise. I'll get your grades to you this week. And I apologize. For some reason, I thought I made this visible to you over the weekend, but I didn't. My apologies. So, Module 5, Disability Employment, is where we're at this week. And so, let's take a look at your tasks and what you need to do this week. So we're going to talk about the content you're going to cover is going to talk about how ableism influences attitudes, policies, and practices in the workplace, which is so important because we've talked about ableism, different models of disability, stereotypes of disability, and now you're going to actually kind of apply it. So how are these things showing up in these particular areas? So this week it'll be about employment. So you're going to read our textbook, chapters 29 and 31. I actually want you to go back one and read chapters 28 to 31. I must have missed that somehow, but 28 is really important. So 28 to 31. And then I'd like you to read the Disability in the Workplace Barriers to Employment and Retention. And then there's a couple of videos for you to watch. And then I say listen to 2 podcasts, but I'm going to change that. Let me change it right now so that I don't forget. But we're going to change that to 1. That's just heavy listening to 2 is just too much for this week. But you have 3 options. You can listen to accessible workplace accommodations, disability and employment, or disability and economics. And so choose one of those podcasts. This week you have your disability blog number 4, your second Disability Matters project, and then I just want you to keep working on your Real Disabilities project. So at this point you should have your disability, your models of disability and stereotypes matrix to use as you're watching the films, so you can start making notes of where those things are showing up in your film. And then just kind of I guess I would be making notes that will help you kind of synthesize that content when you get to actually writing out your project. So those are some of the things that I want you to work on this week. Here are the videos, and then here are links to the podcast. And again, I'm just going to have you choose one. So they're all really good. So if you want to bookmark them for later, you're definitely more than welcome to. So quickly, let's go over the blog for number 4. You guys are doing a really good job. So don't expect as much feedback from me on the next, on the remaining blogs, because I gave you quite a bit of feedback on 1 and 2. So you'll get a little bit more for 3. 4, you probably won't get as much because you should be able to use the feedback I gave you on the first 3 to kind of help you for the remaining blogs. So for this one, again, these are just prompts that you can think about using. And if you take yours a different direction, that's fine. I just need to make sure in your blog that you're referring back to those particular sources, whether it's the podcast, the videos, the readings. Make sure that you're demonstrating to me that you're reading and engaging with that material. So you're going to explain how the medical and charity models of disability have influenced the employment of disabled people. Employers that view disability through these models often enact ableist policies and practices. So I want you to give 3 examples of ableist employment policies or practices. The second part is to explain how 3 ableist policies and practices might look different for an employer who views disability through a social or affirmation model of disability. So you're going to have to use your own words for that one. You might be able to find it if you wanted to research it, but I just want you to be thinking about, if you are an employer that really views disability through a social model lens, what kind of policies and practices might you enact? Okay. Identify the 1 podcast you listened to using a formal citation, and I gave you the citation below, and then share 5 things that you learned from it. So again, I'll make that change here. Listen to the 1 podcast that you listened to or read. Put that in there too, because you might be using the transcripts. And then share 5 things you learned from that podcast. And then lastly, do a web search or social media search or use LinkedIn to locate a disabled person sharing their experience with employment. Share the link and explain what it involves. So there are a lot of disability activists on social media platforms that are talking about their experience with employment, whether their employer didn't provide accommodations or fought them on accommodations, or you might find some that actually talk about how their employers are doing it well. So, for example, there is a woman who is deaf, and she posted during COVID, she'd gotten a new job, and she was talking about her first experience. She went to work, and what she saw when she got to work was every colleague that she was working with had a clear mask on. And like it brought her to tears because she didn't have to ask for it. They just did it. And so that's that's a good example. And that I think was posted on Instagram or TikTok, but it was just a short, like 1 minute clip. So those are the kinds of things that I'm looking for. I want you to do a web search, find something that's current that people are talking about related to their disability and employment. Okay, so that's for blog 4. And then your Disability Matters project can be a continuation from your Disability Matters #1, which was phenomenal, by the way. I'm actually going to upload a link to a Padlet that I created. So I asked some class members if they would mind if I shared theirs because they were so good. And so I put them all on a Padlet, and I'm going to link the Padlet here so that you can all see that some of the different topics that were covered and how they covered them. So I will put that up here shortly. So that's what we have for this week. I'm not going to have a live session, but I will, if you are interested in connecting with me, I can do some live office hours this week. So I think originally I had planned to do between 7 and 8 o'clock on Wednesday, so tomorrow night. But we have a painting ceremony in CEHS, so I can't actually do that. So I'm going to move it to Thursday if that's okay. But I'll be on WebEx between 7 and 8 o'clock on Thursday, and you can pop in and ask questions if you want, but it's just going to kind of be a live drop-in. If there's something you want to share, some questions you have, or just want to provide some feedback, I'll be in my WebEx room and you can just pop in for a few minutes and just touch base. So that's how we'll do the live session this week. So I would love to have some people come just join me and just chat. Please don't make me sit there all by myself. It's very boring for an hour just sitting online. So someone come talk to me. Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. I'll send out an announcement about that as well. So have a great week.